Thompson 2020 to do a presentation on an update of the work to date. I'll bring forward Project Manager Tim Gibson, Harold Smith, and Keisha Davis as our Economic Development Officer. Just for the records, if you want to introduce yourself, and then the floor is yours.
Tim Gibson.
Keisha Davis.
Thank you all very much. I'm Harold Smith. Tonight, Keisha is a rose between two thorns.
Thank you.
All right, well, thanks very much for giving Thompson 2020 a little bit of time on your agenda tonight. We're just going to give you a bit of a brief update. We committed when Thompson 2020 was established that we would come back to this council and come back to the community regularly with status updates. And I think we've got some interesting updates for you for your consideration tonight. You'll recall that in an earlier presentation we described Thompson as a community of opportunity to live, work, learn, raise a family, retire, invest, and play. And our mission is to ensure that Thompson remains that community of opportunity. There are three project areas that we're focusing on in order to continue that mission. The first is workforce utilization. The second is retain and attract residents. And the third is business redevelopment. And I'm going to ask Tim Gibson to take us into the slides on workforce utilization.
Okay, on workforce utilization, I'm pleased to announce a job fair Friday and Saturday this week. Next slide is a little more in detail, but just to back up a little bit, it's been months and months of planning and hard work and effort to get to where we are today. So I'm really excited about the next three slides, and I hope everyone is when they see them. Just some things that are underway in and around the job fair itself. Currently we have training planned, training not for the sense of training, but actual jobs. Heavy equipment operator, UCN is leading that, and we're targeting that to begin in February of 2018, late February. Class 1 driver training is actually beginning tomorrow here locally in Thompson. To be developed, and these are happening fairly quickly. As you recall, there was a letter of support to Thompson 2020 from UCN in October, so we have their full support. Minor in training is being led by the Northern Manitoba Sector Council, EMT, security, and then the bottom three are kind of looped together: automotive technician, heavy-duty mechanic, and small engine repair. So those are beginning to roll into real and tangible training for careers and jobs. So this is my pride and joy, Friday and Saturday. The mayor or mayor designate is offered to kick it off Friday at 6 o'clock. It's the Northern Manitoba Job Fair. We've actually targeted 2 time slots, 6 till 8 p.m. on Friday and 9 till 3 p.m. on Saturday. Some of the details, there'll be presentations by various industrial partners that'll be at the show. There's some 22 odd companies that are going to have tables, jobs, with jobs, and or training for jobs. And there's some 30 other companies that are going to wander in and amongst the job fair. And hopefully next job fair, we intend to have at least 1, maybe 2 more. We'll get them to participate more actively and get a broader reach as well. So again, we're learning from this first one to try and roll into some really even better, although the bar is fairly high from what I can see right now. It stands to be a very good job fair. That's it. Thank you.
Project 2, as you might recall, was lifestyle housing. It was sort of an all-encompassing category. We've worked with Valet and Manitoba Sustainable Development to look at the most likely areas to focus on to accommodate different types of development. We've identified 12 potential sites, and those include areas for cottages, large lot acreages, and a campground. And we're now looking at narrowing down that list based on the most feasible to develop and to provide services to, such as roads and hydroelectric service. Obviously, those are two big ones that you'll need in looking at development areas. So we're hoping that will produce an updated request for proposal for the development of land with specific sites already mapped out and some of the, hopefully some of the approval processes already in place so that if a developer wants to proceed, if there's demand for a certain type of development, then it should be ready to go. Also under Project 2, retain and attract residents. A real important one is a survey that's been developed. This comes from Valet. They did a retiree survey last year. We saw a lot of good ideas in there, and we wanted to broaden that, the list of people that we were surveying to community residents, focusing largely on what amenities are important for people to make the decision about whether or not to stay or to recommend Thompson as a place for people to locate to. So it's modeled on that survey. It's live now on the Thompson 2020 website, www.thompson2020.ca. And that's one important component of that retain and attract residents, that the community amenities piece. The second one is that we're rolling out focus groups that we want to conduct through February and March, and we've got volunteer facilitators lined up. One of them is Councillor Byer, and we've got others who are lined up to facilitate sessions and add more feedback to the survey results. So we're hoping that come the end of March we can have a very good list of what areas matter the most for people to in their own personal decisions that they make. The last one, Project 3, is business redevelopment. We're currently actively hands-on in looking at two potential opportunities for investment. One of them, believe it or not, is cryptocurrency mining. We've been approached by a number of organizations that are looking at that, and we've sent out a request for expression of interest to those who have contacted us. That closes February the 9th, and we're getting questions and inquiries, looking for more information pretty much every other day right now from the people we've invited to that. It potentially could be a significant investment, but I don't want to raise expectations. These types of data centers really do have a small number of jobs that's associated with them, but they do bring investment and they do bring interest in the community. Home manufacturing is another one. We're on the phone today with a potential developer looking at developing a manufacturing facility that would produce panelized housing, where the walls are all fully constructed and then shipped through here. So there is some interest in that. And the next steps we're focusing on broader is related to retail. We've got North Central Development and Community Futures, and Community Economic Development Fund, both partnering to gather more information on what is required in order to attract investment from retailers, and what interest there is in capacity there locally in different retail options. That information will be the basis for a local investors breakfast that will be hosted in the next couple of months. We've also made some progress on communication beyond our communication with City Council, and I'll ask Keisha to talk about that.
Okay, so a few months ago we published our first newsletter, and I'm sure most of you here would have seen that. Recently we, of course, launched the website, the Thompson 2020 website, and on that website we are heavily promoting our Twitter and Facebook social media platforms. So if you go on the website, you'll be able to update yourselves on information, as they become available. So that is something that we're also very proud of. And tonight we have some of the January publications of the newsletter to share with you also. In addition, we are also seeking to have presentations done at various stakeholder meetings. We've had presentation recently at the Chamber of Commerce, and it's something that we hope to continue, for months to come while Thompson 2020 is progressing.
Do you want me to wrap that up? So, so if anyone has comments, we now have a social media presence, and that's a preferred way to communicate for a lot of residents, we understand. If anyone wants to go old school, our emails and phone numbers are there as well.
Anybody? On behalf of council, I want to thank you to date for the hard effort that's been going on. And again, echo Tim's words in regards to the job fair this weekend. I encourage people to come out. This is the first of a number of them to increase employment opportunities, alternative employment opportunities, and not only those that are affected by the announcement at Valet, but the subsequent businesses, side businesses that are affected as well. And so these are open to the general public and should be well attended again at the TRCC on Friday from 6 till 8 and on Saturday from 9 to 3. So once again, thank you very much for your presentation. Look forward to the next one. Thank you again.